welcome to Pharma Television News Review here at BIO in Philadelphia in 2015. On this show, I have Steve Bates, who's the CEO of the BIA, the British Biotechnology Association. Welcome.
Good, thanks, Peter. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. What people may not know, but in the UK there has been an initiative. We're going to talk about the antimicrobial resistance, which is a big issue. It's a world health issue. And obviously that's been recognised worldwide, but there has been a specific interest in the UK to try and tackle this issue head on. The UK government's been involved in it, and the BIA, with you personally, being involved. And of course this event here at BIO has been a very important to all of this, because there's been some effort made by you guys. So Steve, I suppose the first question is, how's this evolved? How has this initiative risen, particularly in the UK? Let's start there.
So the Chief Medical Officer of the UK, a woman called Dame Sally Davies, has made a great play of putting this on the global health agenda as one of the biggest risks that we need to face worldwide. And I suppose she started that movement about a couple of years ago from the UK. One of her first tasks was to make this a global initiative, and it became a G7 priority when the UK had the presidency a couple of years ago. Now that's got into the priorities of the World Health Organization, and a number of countries around the world have got action plans to tackle antimicrobial resistance. One of the things Dame Sally did early on was she got the industry in. She said, what can you guys do to help? And we've been trying to work with her both on making sure this is understood by companies around the globe and working at a global level. So that's really where it started from the UK, but it's now a global issue, and we've seen lots of initiatives in the first half of this year that have culminated in some activity here at BIO.
Okay, so clearly everybody knows how important this is. Just again, focusing back on the UK, because there's been Jim Owen who's been behind this as well, and of course Jim O'Neill as well. They play an important role in this. So how is this evolving in the UK at the moment? And obviously we'll come on to the events here at BIO after that.
So after Dame Sally Davies had put this on the agenda, the Prime Minister of the UK, David Cameron, said he wanted to be involved in this and wanted an action plan for this. And one of the things that he set up was he asked Jim O'Neill, the renowned economist who used to work for Goldman Sachs and invented the term BRIC, to have a look at the economic challenges behind why the market failure wasn't meaning there were enough drugs for antimicrobial resistance coming through. Jim has started his work. He's been on it for about a year now, started to do some initial reports, one of which is about what are the incentives that are needed to get some new drugs to market. And those are really the discussions that we've been having from the UK. He's been out to China, he's been out to India, and he's brought back some of those learnings to discuss with the industry here at BIO, the global industry, what we can do next.
Okay, so what's been happening here at BIO around this whole subject area?
So Jim has really presented his initial findings around incentives to the industry to say, are these the types of things that will interest companies in coming back into the antimicrobial area, working on new drugs in this area, what more can be done? And I suppose there are a range of ideas that he's come up with. One is obviously to de-link the incentives for companies that can do the research and development for drugs from getting volume sales, which obviously incentivizes lots of drugs to be used when perhaps careful stewardship might be a better way forward. He's also suggested ideas around having a global fund for innovation with staged payments, and he's been testing those ideas with companies large and small, those from Europe, those from America, and he's been here and engaged in those discussions this week.
Okay, so what sort of effort, what sort of conclusions, I suppose I'm asking, have you come to right now? Where you've had these discussions, where are you, and what next steps are going to take place?
So I think there's a consensus emerging around some central elements of this. I think there is an understanding that market failure, classic market failure in an economic sense, is happening in AMR. I think that there is a suggestion that we need to make some changes to move this forward. I think that some of the specifics, would they incentivize companies to come in? Are companies ready to foot the bill for a global fund for research and development on this? Still being worked through. Perhaps there's been some new ideas around the nature of the incentives that could work. Some companies are keen on orphan drug-like incentives. Others see a pure market mechanism of higher price as being something that's valuable. But because this needs to be seen globally, Jim's contention that as China takes over the G20 next year with the presidency there, that this is something that needs to work globally, as something that we've listened to as an industry primarily based in the UK, Western Europe and the USA, and I think we're mindful of the need for a global solution. So I think we still have some more discussion to go. It's interesting, President Obama has done initiatives here, certainly the custodianship, the need for people to understand the nature of the challenges agreed, and I suppose the discussion is focusing down on incentives. But I think what's clear for companies in the know here is that this is a policy initiative that is moving. Usually once something is on the WHO, the G7 agenda, it doesn't fall off. That means there will be something coming through in this space, and I think we're seeing some clever companies making early moves in this space. The Discovers of Cambridge UK, the RedXs of Manchester UK, being the people who are in a position to be the next Cubist, and you saw what happened to Cubist with Merck recently. Those are the types of companies that have been engaged in the discussion here and understanding that although we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, there is going to be policy intervention here that could underpin a new way for innovative companies to make these things that are needed around the world.
And then you mentioned importantly, because you've taken on the responsibility for BIA, which is the UK Biotechnology Industry Association. There's UK companies, you mentioned UK companies, and of course there is a lot of innovation there. How can the UK biotechnology industry play a role in this area? I mean, and obviously you're close to that group.
Yeah. Well, we don't do this alone. I'm lucky from the UK perspective that we come together at BIO as a global trade association show, where the different trade associations from the different countries come together to work together on global topics. We've discussed the need for IP and global patents, as Jim Greenwood has obviously put on the agenda from the US. We've put the AMR issue on the table, and we've worked collegiately with other associations to make sure that this is something that they understand when their national governments are doing their national plans, as they're now committed to under WHO pledges, that there is incentives for their local biotech community to work in this area. And we've shared the opportunity and the fact that this is on the global agenda with communities from around the world, and we've seen some response on that. It's good to see many European countries in the room today, some US biotechs as well, starting to see the opportunity here.
Steve Bates, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show.
Thank you.